So to give a little backstory, I have known about Jewel and Grimhorn and a few of the leads over at Degem for a number of weeks now. They have an amazing platform that we'll actually end up posting in our chat. They have everything from the exchange to a Launchpad and amazing team, amazing devs. We actually had considered before we basically committed on to Pink Sale that this would have been the Launchpad and the platform that we would have utilized. I trust these guys immensely. I can't tell you the number of hours that I've had in conversations one-on-one with certain individuals from the Degem team. We have made it a commitment to try to pop into their open mic nights on Mondays. And actually, our community ended up winning us an ad on their exchange platform. So it's just been a great experience. What's so cool about these guys in general is that they're so willing to still work with other projects, even though we didn't launch on their Launchpad, and we still have nonstop conversations with them. They're going to be helping us with a couple of other aspects of our BSC chart. But that's a quick intro. I don't know how many of your team members are here, but Jewel, if you wanted to potentially give another overview, this man I respect so much. Not only is he brilliant, he's one of the best speakers in this space, and like you guys will see that. But if you've had the pleasure of hearing him speak already, but it's you are very talented, my friend.
Oh, thanks, man. I've got a pretty awesome team, and I don't know if you know, but I'm getting some pretty big feedback from your mic. So I don't know if you know that, but I just thought I'd mention that. It's like cracking.
It always seems to be this computer.
Yeah, I thought it was just me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I got Jade here, content manager from Degem, Couture, Launchpad COO. I got HVAC, community manager, Backdraft, one of our investors, Grimhorn. He's on our Launchpad team. Let me see. Let me go through here and see who's on the team that's in here. Yeah, that's pretty much who we have on the team that's in here. But thank you for the warm welcome. And I can't take all the credit. Like at the end of the day, it's a team that makes it. And we've got a pretty amazing team that we're working with, and I do enjoy working with them every day. Some really dedicated people. Most of the people on our team now are investors that invested in and are working on our team because they believe in it, and that's inspiring to me, And so I'm just happy to be here, man.
Yeah, well, one of the aspects I think that is so amazing about what you guys actually do that is highlighted by a lot of launch pads, but don't necessarily go through the additional effort that it takes sometimes to really vet projects, and that's something that I know that you guys specifically do. Yeah. You kind of tell us a little bit more about that and how you go through that process.
Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, Jade, but I know you were working on a graphic before we jumped in here. I don't know if you can screen share it because I know you probably don't have it exported, but would you mind doing that? Is that okay?
I do have it exported and I can get it to you. Just a sec.
Could you drop that in the chat here? That'd be awesome. Look at this. Phenomenal team. We were just working on this for a client because they're wanting to know, or not a client, sorry, a partner. They're wanting to know what do I need to look for when I'm referring a client your way. And so we'll drop a graphic there. And while we're organizing that, because I'm kind of putting Jade on the spot, I think it's just really important. I think it's really important for investors to know some key things. There are key things that Degem does to really kind of make sure. I say this all the time. You can't make the space safe. I invested. I am an investor, and I'm also a shitcoin trader. I call it the Jekyll and Hyde trading. And so for me, I was trading shitcoins last night, and I'll tell you, or the night before, I was trading shitcoins, and I put in, 0.3 BNB, and I paper handed out, and I look back, and now with the market cap of where it's at, with that 0.3 BNB, what would that be, like $100? It'd be worth 11 grand today. And so, I think that you can't ever. It's a volatile space. It's unregulated. Anybody can launch anything. Something can do a 1,000x in one afternoon with like $100. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. There's projects that have launched that are shitcoin projects that have launched in the past couple of days that I've been watching that have gone to $1.1 million with a starting market cap of $6,000. So you can't be the beneficiary of the volatility in this space and then complain when you bought at all-time high, or if a rug happens, like that comes with the space. And so I can't guarantee investors or people in our ecosystem that nothing will ever rug coming off of our Launchpad. But what we can do is we can work with the project owners, talk to them, voice chat to voice chat, see if they're willing to KYC. But I mean, even that, for investors, like they need to know KYC isn't everything. Certain countries really don't touch pursuing people in an unregulated environment like crypto, and some countries do. So, that's not the be all end all. I would say a few key things that might educate people to look for. One of the main things that I'm a real stickler for and so are the guys on our Launchpad team, and I have to credit our devs for this being a standard, is mainnet testing your contract. Recently, there was a pre-sale of a large project, 15,000 BNB in this space, and they had 2,500 people on VC for 6 hours. Why? Because after raising $7 million, they hadn't mainnet tested their contract. And so they had investors waiting there saying, you're time rugging us and dealing with all this FUD. So things that launch off of our Launchpad have had a mainnet test, and we're happy to the standards of that. And again, we can't guarantee everything. It's just like checks and balances of what we would be looking for. We have our devs go through their contract and have a look at any malicious code, but even at that, you can't, you can't qualify the intent of a contract or a project. You know what I mean? Right. And so I think at the end of the day, it's important for investors to talk to the actual team members, to ask them what their marketing plans are. Everyone has that, but to even dig deeper, like right now it's AMA tours, it's going out and getting cross-pollination from other communities. You're giving out 30,000 whitelist spots. Not real confident that after pre-sale, it's not going to dump, because you're giving away these whitelist spots on just like competitions. So there's things that we've learned along the way, and I can go on and on about it, but there's things we've learned along the way, and we just try and do our best to vet them as much as possible. And we actually do give like advisory services for free. It's a part of the fee that they pay when they launch with us, but it comes for free. We don't say, hey, 3 BNB to sit in the room with Jules and for him to give you get your feedback and then help you rejig your business plan. We do that for free. And we did that for a project the other day that came to us. They have an importing, exporting business of very rare plants. They sat down with us. They have a brick and mortar store. They're wanting to share profits of their very lucrative business with people in crypto. But the fundamental flaw in it was they didn't want to share with people where their brick and mortar store was. And that just doesn't sit right with the average investor. So we helped them rejig the business plan and suggest that they go into the metaverse, and it solves two problems for them at once, right? Now they have a location that crypto people can engage with their staff in, but then also they can expand their business that they're already making a shit ton of money off of. And maybe they could be the first importing, exporting business in the metaverse that imports and exports stuff in the virtual world to the real world. And they're like, oh my God, I haven't thought of that. And so that's kind of like an example of the advisory services that we give as well.
Yeah. And actually one of the gentlemen that's in this room that's on I know he's one of the, I believe, founders, but also the dev team is Katori. And same thing for us, that he's actually become one of my good friends. And there's been certain aspects and certain questions that I've had. And it's amazing the willingness to share of information, because we're such a project of wanting to educate individuals in the space, not just, okay, this is the next upcoming token that you should end up putting BNB into, but how do you understand reading BSC scan, or what is the best suggestion that you have when potentially trying to price average? Things of that nature are so critical. And you guys have a team that, from everything I've seen so far, is so focused on education and trying to help other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just in we have an HQ chat, like a headquarters chat with our team, and we were just sharing some utilities on how to find new projects that are coming out. And there, I mean, here, let me drop one for you right now. There's one called Deck Screener. Can I drop a link in here? I'm not trying to shill another project. I don't even know these people.
Completely good to be able to actually share any of that information.
Let me drop a link. Yeah,
Same thing with like I jumped in one of your AMAs the other day, and you were talking about the bubble maps, and that was something that I thought was so cool because I hadn't seen that before, and it was such a cool utility, such a cool tool for everybody to be able to take part in and actually look at what the holders and the whole dynamic of a token.
Right. Yeah. Let me drop. Now this is okay. Now this is not financial advice. All right. This is not financial advice. This is for those who see, I personally think shitcoin season is around the corner, and there's a lot of money to be made to put into the utilities and the long-term projects you want to. So this is for the degens. Don't come back to me and whine if you get rugged, right? But the token I found the other night was, before I say this, right? This is the interesting thing about crypto. There's two polar opposites. There are absolute shitcoins that could 1,000x in like a few days, sometimes even like 100x in a few hours. And then there's the utility investments that you'll invest in for 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, right? And both of them will make you money, but you got to understand that they're both completely opposite approaches. You can trade on both sides of the fence, but you cannot have the same mentality on both sides of the fence or you will lose your shorts. Right. So this deck screener, there's a section called new pairs, and you can go in and it's an aggregator. You can find where something that just launched in the last few minutes. Now, most of these are scams, but you can look up that token, go see if they have a Telegram, find their community, decide for yourself if you want to take that risky trade. You know, and I'm not suggesting anyone do this. I'm just saying there are utilities out there for the various different types of trade styles that people can take. Now, these projects right here, like this stuff right here, they're never going to launch on our Launchpad. Fucking ever, right? It's just there's a difference in mentality in trading. You could still make money shitcoin trading and be a wise long-term investor, but you can't have the same mentality in both investments.
Right. And like you said, because there's so much hype sometimes around certain projects, or even if it's just fly by night where you just caught wind of something that's going to be listed on another Launchpad, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, fine, you guys are throwing in one BNB, I'll throw in one BNB. And tools like this are things that we can actually use in the community to just educate people to know, okay, at least I had a concept of, like you said, if they have socials, if they have any kind of other information that's relevant to help everybody make a wise decision, as opposed to it just being this like fear of missing out and jumping into something blindly.
Yeah, 100%.
So going through the platform itself that you guys have over at Degem, you have the Launchpad, but then you also have an exchange, you have a treasury, you have a refinery, and you have a gem cave. Do you want to go into a little bit of some of those? Now, these are some of the aspects of what I've been speaking with your devs that EverReflect is planning on taking advantage of over these next couple of weeks as well. You guys do it better than most. So as it happens with things that are done better than most, it takes more time to be able to build out and get some of these contracts and get some of these deals basically done. But I love all of the utilities that you guys have already have launched, but are also considering, that are building upon the platform that you already have.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're always building. We're getting ready to make an announcement today with something new we're doing with our channel, and our automated Launchpad is something that we have technically launched, and it's out there, and a couple pre-sales have happened on the automated Launchpad, but we haven't been pushing it a lot because we've been testing it with a few of the pre-sales through some partners and stuff like that to make sure that they went fine. We found a couple snags in an issue with gas and decimals, and so we fixed that, and now we're good to go. So we're ready to start pushing it. So we're always working on new things. We've got plans for the next 2 weeks, the next 4 weeks, and then the next 2 months.
Right, long term. So explain the gem cave and the refinery.
So the gem cave is like our staking platform.
Right.
And yeah, absolutely. So the Gem Cave is our staking platform, and that is where if someone comes to us and they say that they have a new token and they are going to be launching, or they're an existing token, and a staking platform can cost you. I mean, the market price for a staking platform from a solid dev team is about $20K right now. Yep. And so, there's that. And then there's obviously the building of that. And then how long is that going to take? Could take a month, right? Depending on the needs of the client or whatever. And then there's a time frame issue there, month, maybe 2 months if you're going to DYO or do it yourself with your own, dev team or whatever. So it could be anywhere between 10 to 20 grand. And then a month, maybe two. And then on top of that, you have the circuit audits, which we have, and we have Skynet and everything like that. And that's about like another 40 grand. So you're looking at like a 50, 60 grand platform. And the introductory price when we first started was 1.5 BNB, I think it was. And then now it's 5 BNB because we have more and more clients that are coming to us. And we're trying to filter through just anybody wanting to go into the staking platform that has a project with 60K market cap and 20% of their supply in the top 3 wallets or 4 wallets. And if they go into and they do a staking platform, people will go in and abuse that staking platform. And so we're trying to filter through like the serious projects and the introductory projects we were doing. And so now it's like it's 5 BNB, but I mean, even at 5 BNB, what's that? 2K right now. It's 2K for a 60K platform. We don't charge you to add more in later on once your pool is up. Let's say you do a 2-month or a 3-month pool or a 60-day pool or a 2-week pool. Once that's created, there's a lot of math behind that. Once that's created, then it's just about adding more tokens in. So that's the staking platform. Now, if someone comes to us, and this is kind of where like our token comes into play, and it is a perks token, a rewards token, but of a different kind, right? So we're building our exchange volume, and we have a few like pretty audacious goals there, and they are longer term. It's going to take us 3 to 6 months to get to where we want to be. But in the meantime, we're trying to find some more shorter term rewards for people. So if a project comes to us and says they want to give 3% of their supply for their community for like a farming stake, then that's great because it helps their LP. They engage their community. They encourage hodling. The floor gets higher and higher, which is great. And we don't take a percentage of their tokens and then dump on their chart, right? And so there's a benefit there for them, but we want to benefit for our holders too. So we take, if they give it 3%, we take 15% of that total sum and we put it back into basically a cloned version of whatever they have. If they have a pool where you don't require BNB, it's just like EverReflect for EverReflect. Then that's what we'll do, Degem for EverReflect. If they have a farm to provide LP, then the people who have already provided LP for our project can use their LP tokens for these short, limited pools. Yeah. So we try and reward our holders with that. And we got a couple cool things on the horizon for our pre-sale platform where we might be giving an edge on a pre-sale. If you've ever wanted to have an edge at the front end of a pre-sale, we might be giving a little bit of a head start for people that that hold a certain token. So so we're working on a lot of different things there, but we're trying to building an exchange, a Launchpad, a staking platform. None of the successful ones that people see that blew up and everyone wants to be there when it does, none of those happened overnight. And because this is the BSC space, you have people ape in and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this and I want to see it pull in 30 million in daily volume. And I have a 1% bag. I'm making 350K a year, but like nothing good is built overnight. So in those long-term kind of visionary strategies, we have definitely seen after launch the need to have some short-term goals as well that are super beneficial. And that's something we're focused on right now as a team while we have some of our longer-term goals playing out.
Well, and one of the other aspects that you guys have mentioned is that you're taking the time, with whether it's with nodes or whether it's with servers or it's any of the back end stuff, that you're taking the time to do that right. And that's another aspect that, one, costs a lot of money, and two, you can't just populate that stuff instantly. It's not instant gratification when it comes to producing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so like 2 months ago, we started downloading the entire blockchain for BSC, right?
Right.
And it was like, everything. And it's pretty tricky, the technicalities behind that, because our information has to sync up with every other, I just found this out recently, but our information has to be an exact clone of everything that's living on every other node out there. So, I mean, it's a truly global synchronization, right? So we downloaded the blockchain in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And it was like over 2 terabytes, 2.5 terabytes, I think. But now we're indexing, and we've been indexing for the last month and a half. And indexing is like, I don't know if anybody is an old Windows user here, like Windows 98, Windows XP, but there was this function called defragment. And you had to defrag your hard drive when it got slow. And that was taking the pieces of information within your hard drive and reordering them and organizing them so the information can be called correctly. My dad would kill me if I said that that's basically what indexing is, because it's not. But that's the easiest way that I can explain it, is that we have the book, we downloaded the book, right? But the pages are with invisible ink. And now we're having to clarify what's within the blockchain and reorder the transaction hashes and the price of BNB and get all of those reordered. So it did the massive chunk of download, and now it's indexing. And I mean, dude, it could take another 3 weeks. It could take another month to index. I don't know. We're waiting on it, you know? So, you know, you have some investors that are, you know, maybe not happy with that, and it's reflected in our price action. But we've always been upfront with people that, you know, like, we're doing both short-term and long-term goals here. We can't force things to happen. And I think the thing that I'm excited about with our project right now is that any new investor that's coming in, most of our team tokens are out except me and the devs. And any new investors that are coming in, they actually have a clear picture of what we are doing, what we can accomplish, versus when you're selling a pre-sale, there's a fine line between lying, you don't want to lie, and giving the hopium to fill your pre-sale so you can fund your project, right? So you set the dream and the vision of what could happen, and then you launch your project, and it's like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So now when you invest, you know what the team is doing, what we're up to, what our goals are, what's achievable, versus like, say, 3 months ago, what we would have liked to have seen by this point, versus now what we know can be done in the next 2-3 months.
Right. Now, so to go back to what you had just said in regards to taking the entire blockchain and indexing it, why is that important? For somebody that's kind of new to this whole idea, why would you even want to spend the time, the money, the effort to go through such a long process?
Well, if you've ever used PancakeSwap, you have to go in and copy and paste the contract in there. I think now they're using charts, which is pretty cool. But I'm talking to the OGs in the room that maybe 6 months ago were used to PancakeSwap, and then PooCoin came along, and it was like everyone started using PooCoin. And they have a pretty amazing platform. But if you notice the difference between PooCoin and Pancake, on Pancake, you can't just type in the name of a token and it aggregates a bunch of information, but you can on PooCoin. Well, that's because PooCoin has cached the blockchain. It also means that our data retrieval, our calls, like your transactions and being able to be first when you do a transaction, is going from like 3 seconds per call to 100 milliseconds. So it's a lot faster. And in particular, our auto slippage is one of the most undervalued things on our exchange, because it's basically been programmed. It's not a bot in the sense that you can just sit back and snipe people's liquidity, but it has been programmed in a way where it front runs transactions up to 49% slippage when you do the auto slippage. So it makes you the fastest transaction, you know, that's happening, unless there's somebody that's using a sniper with high GUI, and there's all this technicality behind it. But for the average trader, you're going to be one of the fastest traders by using our auto slippage,
which is amazing. And I've actually tested out and done some buys on your swap. I'll post it actually in there, and I think I've actually shared it a number of times in our chat because it's incredible. And the platform not only does it work better, but it actually, the aesthetics and the actual feel and the look, it's actually more. I think it's a better layout. It's a better platform for actually being able to trade tokens.
Well, we're actually going to do another makeover to the layout in the next month or two, and we have a few other features and a few other things we're going to be integrating. I mean, if we want to come out of the gate and make some serious gains for our holders, long-term holders with exchange volume, we can't just have a chart and a swap page the way we think about it. What's next? What's around the corner? Because people will come in and, you know, maybe in the beginning, not so much now, they're like, you're the pancake killer. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. No, dude, Pancake was a fork of Sushi Swap, and they were the first, they were the first swap in the space in BSC that was DeFi, truly DeFi in a sense, right? KuCoin was basically the first one with charts. So you can't compare yourselves to the OGs that were first to market and say we're going to beat them, because you're not. It's just dishonest and like heads in the clouds. So what can we do that's new and different and around the corner? Whether that's aggregators, kind of like the DX or the DEX screener or whatever. So, you know, we're constantly working on things for sure.
Yep, without a doubt. Now, you guys also host something in your chat every Monday, or you were for those couple of weeks, the open mic night. Are you guys still doing that over there?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We had some personnel shifts, and it was basically us going back to the drawing board and saying, okay, we want to do this, but our first one was amazing because it was off the cuff. I'm a very straight shooter, right? So I'm just going to let you know how it is. Yep. So our first one was off the cuff. I did a 12-hour long VC. I called it Monday Marathon, and it was amazing. We had like over 100 people in VC. It was phenomenal. The next one we did, we had so much interest that we had to end up booking them. But the problem with the ones that got booked is we looked at the ones that got booked, and then we looked at the ones that were just off the cuff from hype. And some of the really, really bullish ones were the off the cuff ones. And so we want to try and keep it a little bit more sporadic and slightly planned. So we've only done it for a few weeks, and now we're just honing it in so we can get it better and better.
But I will say that was one of the best parts that you guys have been able to create actually in Telegram and on this space, is that it was very improv, and it was so cool to hear some of the other projects that were real people, that were docs, that were willing to actually share their information. And you just don't see that as often, and especially in almost like a rapid fire, because I think that when we went in there the first night and we got our community to vote, I think you give a time limit of like 10 or 15 minutes. And I think it seems so simple, but it was so brilliant, because it's like, good, now you can be done, and then you can listen to somebody else. And you really actually get a lot of energy and a lot of excitement when you start hearing, a few projects after a few projects that are different, but they're all solid people that you hear chatting in there.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes, there's a timer. You got your 10 minutes. Your 10 minutes is up. If you can't explain your project and get me to want to buy in 10, I mean, that's more than a door-to-door salesperson is given. They've got like 30 seconds. Right. So I understand in crypto, you've got investors, you've got an ecosystem, you've got this, you've got that. But, if you do an AMA tour, you're going to get an hour. That's awesome. You're also going to pay for that. Ours is free, but you only get 10 minutes. What it also serves as for us is an onboarding tool. And this is something our team is more aware of. It's an onboarding tool for partnerships and for projects we want to launch that haven't picked a Launchpad yet. Whether that be an automated Launchpad or a premium Launchpad, and those are two completely different ballparks. But it serves as like an aggregator for us and a personal touch point. I mean, if you're a project owner and you hear this new Launchpad out there and some dude slips into your DMs, hello, sir, I have a marketing proposal for you. Right. You're probably not going to be real apt.
No, exactly.
But if a guy reaches out to you and says, hey, dude, there is an open mic AMA happening over at Degem. You get free 10 minutes. There's going to be like 30, 40, 60 people, maybe 100 people in DC, but you're going to put your project in front of some investors. you know, and it surprised us, like project owners of communities of 8, 10,000 are like, oh shit, 10 minutes for free? Yeah, I'm there. And, you know, it's fun. It's just fucking fun, man.
It's a lot of fun. And that's the part that like I love the most, because you don't actually end up finding that very often. And then you can go in there, and even the connections, that the networking, it's almost as if you're going to like a networking event. When I lived in Chicago, and you could pop into a bar and you're like, oh, hey, like I don't know all these people, but we're all here for the same kind of concept. And you're able to just meet new people, not to mention, you know, new holders, new traders, but it's just like the whole atmosphere. You guys do a really good job. You keep the energy up. And I can't believe that, you know, 12 hours. I mean, that's insane to be able to stay on voice chat for that long. That first one, that's just almost ridiculous.
Okay. Can I just be really, really like, I love, there's an old saying like, everyone likes sausage, no one likes to see how it's made. Can I just explain to anyone wanting to start a project, or maybe just, I'll be an echo chamber for EJ here of like how projects run and the things you learn. Can I share how the sausage is made? Can I share that?
Hell yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. That's why you're here.
We did our first one for 12 hours, and it just was sporadic and fucking amazing. We did our second one, man. I shut it down halfway through. I'm like, guys, it wasn't the team's fault at all. Yeah. I was like, guys, we overscheduled. It was my call. We overscheduled all these people, and I felt bad for the team because they put so much effort into it. But what ended up happening is we had people that scheduled in, that if they hadn't scheduled in, maybe I would have kicked them in the first 2 or 3 minutes if I was just up front. But because they were like through people saying, yeah, here's a link and go, and Degem will look after you, I felt bad, right? So I shut it down halfway through. People don't talk about that in projects, right? That not everything goes flawless. That when you're constantly building an ecosystem, a platform with a team, you've got to always be looking at like, how did that go and what's next? And okay, the last thing was great. Okay, this one sucked. Do I blame team? No, absolutely not. Like, it's all on me. I'm the CEO. I made the call on that. I said, let's try it this way. Let's do it that. So it's my bad, guys. It's my bad. It's not your bad. It's my bad. Let's do this, right? Or you know, hey, these people over here, they referred these clients to us. It didn't really work out. So let's just not do that anymore. Let's just make it sporadic. And this, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because it's our team. I mean, with any team, this is what you constantly have to be doing if you're going to survive in this space. If you're going to grow and you're going to thrive, not just survive, but thrive, is you've got to constantly be looking at what works and what can we try new and what can we do better. And I'm really, really grateful for the team I have that's always like, we're trying something and we do it, and then bam, it's like, oh, that's phenomenal. And then we try something else and maybe it doesn't work. And then, okay, guys, and they're very, very patient and very adaptable to be able to just throw something together. I have a phenomenal team that makes all of that happen. And so that's what you got to do, man. And sometimes people that are investors or people that look at crypto projects, they don't understand those things. They don't understand. They just go, oh, well, that was lame, or whatever happened to that, or whatever. But it's like, don't worry, baby. Round 3 is coming, and we're going to get it down.
Yeah. Well, and that is the part that I think our teams emulate in so many ways, because I've gotten to know a lot of the people that are in this chat that, you know, are working every day on behalf of Degem, and the one-on-one conversations, and then the coming up with ideas, and that they're constantly working. Because the fortunate part of being able to be in my role is to be able to have those conversations with them. But you see the same thing with our team, where it's like, hey, let's try this idea. Let's try this community project. Hey, what about this other token that we could potentially partner with? Or what about this crazy idea about doing a promotion as a giveaway? And some of them work and they're off the charts. And you're like, oh my gosh, meme competitions are the greatest thing ever. We need to run one every day. And then you realize, okay, there's a half-life to some of this stuff. Like, it worked really well the first time. Now the second time around, it worked okay. And then by the third time, people are like, oh, we're over that. Let's try something else. And it takes an army and a family of people that are working with not just the voice and the face. And that's the part that I think is most, from my standpoint, as a team project owner, to look at what you have with your team, knowing there's all these other cogs working in the whole system. It's important because you can't just always trust just one person that like, hey, the project might even be legit and doing well. They need a massive team behind them. And you guys have that. And it shows with every conversation I've had, but it definitely reflects into the work and the stuff that you guys have already put out and just all the other concepts that you're going to be launching on the Degem platform in general, because it takes that many people and it's hard to always know, like you said, what's going to work. But when they do work, they're going to eventually, because you're just not giving up. You're constantly always putting out new ideas, new effort. And that's the most incredible part I've seen from your team, is that the constant effort from so many team members, it's critical for the long-term growth, because you always need that aspiration from multiple people to be able to build something into the vision that you guys have.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just enjoying just this conversation. Can I just react to what you just said? Can I react to something you said that I think is important for people to understand? People on my team know I hate compliments, but they've told me, like, you got to take them, because I realize how hard our team works. It's really our team that makes this. But let me just share my psychological thoughts on like crypto and teams and communities and how they can be more involved, and some of the dangers of having a larger team. Teams are often an extension of a leader, right? They execute the vision of the leader or whatever. So they're an extension of the leader. That leader is an extension of a vision. Where the breakdown can happen in crypto communities is when the leader has a vision, the team is an extension of that leader, and then the community is an extension of that leader. And what sometimes, after it gets filtered through so many different things, people forget that, no, you're here because of the vision, not the leader, because I'm going to fail you every day. I'm going to say something stupid next week, and I'm going to shit my pants on VC. And if you're here because of me, and you're not here because of the vision, then you don't show up to VCs when you get your nose bent out of shape, and you dump your bag when you're all annoyed, and then when it markets, and then it starts moving, you're like, oh, no, I got out. I'm FOMOing back in. And I just want to encourage communities, your community, right? EJ is phenomenal. The team is great, very professional. That's been my opinion. But understand why you're here. You're here for a vision. What's your vision? Maybe your personal vision is financial freedom. That's where you start, right? And so you're able to look past certain things that aren't like trust issues, and you go, but this is my vision. And then what's your vision for EverReflect? Not EJ's vision. Your vision. And I don't mean DMing them saying we should do this and do that. I mean, what's your vision to push this thing forward? You're an investor, you hold a bag. Maybe you're upside down because of the market, but it has nothing to do with the leader. And sometimes in crypto communities, when the market is down, then if you're attached to the leader, then it's like you're in his DMs and you're like, what about this and what about that? And it's not about what are you going to do to step up to the plate and join the VC and help chill and do the daily tasks or whatever. Because the irony of all of that is that when the community together shares a common vision, they're fucking unstoppable, bro. Right. Unstoppable. Right. And then their bags grow, because it's not so much about a leader and how great he was today on VC and how he sucked tomorrow or whatever. It's about the shared vision that the community has. That makes successful communities and projects.
I love it. Yeah, I was so excited to be able to have this conversation, because there wasn't that like, okay, we need to just do this. But I know, listening to you so many times, I just knew that there would just be great information that comes out. And that's these are fun, because it's like back and forth about like different topics. And one of the things that you just hit on that, my mindset and our whole team's mindset is always trying to focus on the idea of integrity and trying to be transparent and upfront and all that kind of stuff. And those words kind of get sometimes lost. But you just said something about how you're the CEO and you're the leader and you can still make mistakes. It's huge, because that just shows, one, the humility, but two, that the ego doesn't get you anywhere, because all of us are going to make mistakes. and there's always going to be that adversity. But it doesn't matter if you end up making a mistake. It matters, how are you going to handle it the next time around? Or are you going to make a pivot? Or are you going to make another strategic plan? And repeatedly from your team, that's what I see. It's just like, okay, cool, we tried this. Maybe it did go well. Maybe it didn't go well. But it doesn't matter because that was yesterday. Like, screw yesterday. This is the vision. This is where we're going. Jump on the bus with us, because if you don't, it's just going to be something that you'll look down the road and be like, man, I should have stayed on that bus, because now they're in Maui and we're basically still here in Kansas. No offense to Kansas. I'm just saying that that's the stuff that I love hearing from a solid core team, to be able to take that vision, but also be like, hey, we're not going to always do everything perfect. And sometimes timelines are going to change, and sometimes contracts aren't going to work. And sometimes things like indexing are going to take a month or two longer than we expected. But we're being upfront with everybody about it, because this is still the vision. This is still the long-term plan, and we're still going to accomplish it because we're not giving up.
You know, I sat in like a conference once, and they brought in like leaders from fancy places all over the world, and the COO of Dunkin' Donuts was there, and I heard a leader say something one time that really impacted me. I can't remember who it was. Someone could probably go out and find the quote. Your success is a direct connection to your pain tolerance. Both as an investor in crypto, I think that's true, and as a project owner and working on a team under a project owner. Look, right, dude, I have had days that my world has been fucking rocked on this project. My team has been rocked, right, at times.
Right.
But here's the thing, dude. At the end of the day, you can't let people get into your head and tarnish the vision and the goal. What you got to do is you got to wake up the next day. You got to strap your boots on, and you got to say, I'm not listening to that. I'm moving forward. Everyone admires the Bill Gates and the Warren Buffetts and the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musks, and I'm a fanboy of Elon Musk. I respect what he did. 2008, they filed for fucking bankruptcy, bro.
Right.
They were right on the verge of it. Actually, I don't want to misquote it. They were right on the verge of filing for bankruptcy.
But there were struggles as well. Yep.
Yeah, and now he's one of the wealthiest people in the world because he bought the shit out of his own his own project, his own business, when nobody fucking believed, and everyone laughed at him, and Warren Buffett and all these his peers, they all laughed. NASA astronauts, Neil Armstrong funded him going to Mars, and you see Elon Musk, like, in these interviews, it breaks him. He's like, I wish they hadn't done that. These are my heroes. But you just wake up the next day and go, I can't control what's happening in the world. I can only control my response.
Yeah.
That's how, in my opinion, that's how you keep on in the longevity. You've got to have a high pain tolerance to make a lot of money in crypto. You've got to have a high pain tolerance to move a project forward when you've been rocked or your team's been rocked. So how do you do that? What do you say to yourself? You got to be a little stoic. Stoicism is something that I find very fascinating. I can't control what's happening in the world.
Right.
I can only control my response. And guess what? My responses aren't always received the right way. They're not always done the right way. And I can't even control that. I can only say, man, shit, I messed up on that. Okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do it this way. And you just keep moving forward. You don't give up. Because in crypto, 90% of projects fail because what? They just give up. They get demoralized, they whatever. And I just have a fire in my belly, and I've seen it in business before, that if you just keep moving forward in the same direction and you keep pushing forward, eventually your day comes.
It's similar to that, the quote in regards to attitude about, like, what happens to me is basically 90% my attitude and 10% how I react to it. But so many times people get that outside of the scope of what they should be doing. And it's so cool because I assumed that this conversation would kind of turn into this mindset, motivational kind of like thought process, but it is. And in moving forward and being able to constantly be focused on, all right, here's the short-term goal, here's the long-term goal, but what can I do today? And you, as well as anybody, know there's certain days that you're like, man, this is just, going to be tough. And then you just get up and then you go back to it. And then there's other days that you get up and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the coolest experience that I just had. I love that I just got this message from this person. And then, Elon just left me a voicemail. So like, I'm pumped up, I'm ready to work, but it's the consistency factor, because you can't change how your emotions are going to be day in and day out like any other human. But that you have a dedicated vision of like, this is going to be what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to go back out. It's no different than a person that, I'm not a runner, but like, the people that run marathons, it's like, you have to consistently do it every day. And that's how you get to that point where you can then run the 26.2 miles. And that's how crypto is. But in so many ways, people don't want to treat crypto like a marathon. They want to treat it like, oh, this is a short little sprint and it's going to be done. And the project's not as successful, in 30 days as it should be. No, stick with the teams. Like, you guys have that passion and hunger, and I know everybody in the community can hear that in your voice, because it has to be the long-term marathon. You have to constantly have that hunger that you're going to go back and be like, okay, this is the next step. This is where we're going. This is a new project that we're going to implement into our ecosystem. And man, it always fires me up hearing you guys, and just you specifically being able to talk to you, because that passion's contagious. And it's something that you see carry over into the community, but it's also something that carries over into the team. And I want to acknowledge that, because not a lot of people, especially leaders of these projects, have the kind of passion that you do. And everybody can hear it in your voice every time you chat. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, you got to build something you believe in. That's the thing, right? Some I'm not going to like FUD project owners out there, but it's like the first dip and they're like, oh, sorry guys, we tried.
V2, right, exactly.
Yeah, we tried. Sorry. Yeah. Well, where did all the marketing we tried? You know what I mean? Like, we tried. No, you didn't fucking try, man. You're not even at the beginning of trying yet. You're trying. People people underestimate what they can do. They overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in a decade. In crypto, the equivalent of time frame, because it's all on warp speed, is people overestimate what they can do in a month, and they underestimate what they can do in 10 months. And, in my opinion, it's I like to, I'm a passionate person, but I can also detach myself from emotion when things are happening and go, okay, let's look at this critically. Floki went, 2 billion market cap or something like that. I think it was Floki that was like rugged a couple different times by devs, and then the community believed the vision and they stepped in. Doge was started as a joke. The original Doge dev doesn't even like Doge. He's like, he's almost ashamed of it. He's like, I just started it as a joke, and it turned into what it did, right? Bitcoin, I've seen the screenshots of people saying on Twitter, years and years ago, got out of Bitcoin, took a loss. What a joke. Went down to $5. You just, in my opinion, you may have a shit project, right? You may have that. And there are shit projects out there, and there are shit team members. And I get all of that. But the other thing too about crypto that I find fascinating as a human being is that if just math wise, detach yourself from emotions. If I have utility, or I have a foundation, I have something that's tangible, right, that I can build on, and I have a team I can build with, because 90% of projects in the BSC space fail, that means if I don't quit, I'm already at the top 10. Right, exactly. I'm already there just by not quitting, let alone having good utility, strong community, all of those things. I already cut through 90% of my competition by just being here in a month. Right, exactly. So it's crazy to think about those statistics, and I've even seen it as high as 92%. So you're already in an 8%, of legit projects that are here for more than 30 days. And then I want to go back to one comment you made about the passion, because it is important. And it doesn't matter if you have a passion in coding, or if you have a passion in building utilities that you think can be implemented into real world. Like from my perspective, and a lot of the community knows this, I have
an over 20-year career in the event planning, large scale event space, festivals, things of that nature. Like that is just one of music, especially one of my huge passions. And it's like forming the combination of what I love about cryptocurrencies and these utility tokens and all that aspect, and then merging it with my other passion of having entertainment, and then finding other like-minded people like, oh, I love both trading, I love entertainment, I love comedians, I love sporting events. It doesn't matter, but that merger is something that people can hear. And it's not always something that you're going to end up seeing in a white paper, and it's not always something that you're going to necessarily see written down like, oh, hey, Jewel has a passion for raising horses, let's say, whatever it might be, but you can hear it. And that's a huge aspect of why it's important for people to listen to the teams, ask them questions that aren't necessarily the most critical about like, well, I see that you ended up having a 0.5% liquidity tax back in November, and now you're I get tokenomics. I get the math. I'm a math weirdo. But when those questions come up, ask stuff that's specific to the long-term vision of where is this utility going, or why are you excited about NFT tickets for live events, or why are you excited about this that you're doing with Degem? Because that's where the proof lies. You're going to hear it in a person's voice. They're passionate about, okay, I'm not here for BNB. Wait a second. Wait, Jewel, wait a second. You're not here for, no, of course not. Do you understand that we're indexing the whole damn blockchain? You really think that I'm here for a few BNB? Like it is so evident in the teams that are passionate and have the real fire inside of them. And that's just something I'm once again, just like so pleased that you could even take the time out of your guys' busy schedule to have this many of you guys here. But it's something that you don't find with most teams. And I found it with you guys in folds, because you might find one or two people that are on a team that have that passion and that fire. Every person on your team has that passion. And it makes me excited because I know that we're going to be partnering together on some of our utilities, but also some of the things long term. And it's like, damn, like these are the people. This is the inner circle of the kind of individuals, human beings, not just in crypto, just human beings that you want in your space and in your friendship pool, because you guys are great.
Yeah. You gave me a thought there, and my team's letting me know I got to start my BC in 5 minutes because we have an open mic that's going to start today, and we're going to try some different things so people can come over if they want to and check it out. But you gave me a thought there. The difference between a Bitcoin and a BNB mentality. All right. I'm not here for beans. I'm here for Bitcoins. Bitch. I'm not here for BNB. I'm here for Bitcoin. Here's what I mean by that. If I was here for BNB, I would be here for BNB, and I would do a pre-sale, and then in a month we'd go, hey, we tried, and then we'd move on, and then I'd do another, and people do it all the time in the space. I don't want a few beans. I want a couple dozen Bitcoin, baby. And that isn't going to be built. There's a difference between BNB developers and Bitcoin developers. There's a difference between BNB investors and Bitcoin. And I'm not talking the literal things. I'm using it as an analogy. If you invest in Bitcoin, there were a lot of people that took out loans that invested at Bitcoin at 60K because all these influencers said it's going to go to 120K at the end of November. And now they're upside down and they're scared and they have interest loans that they're paying and all that kind of stuff. You did the wrong thing, bro. You should have done that in BNB. Go tether it and then wait for BNB to like go to the floor, buy that, do your quick flip. There is a difference between a BNB mentality and a Bitcoin mentality. And I have a Bitcoin mentality. And I think my team has a Bitcoin mentality. And I would encourage investors to think more along those lines. You know why people don't sell in the bear market? They buy in the bear market. Well, everybody's offloading, the whales accumulate, because what's the one common denominator with Bitcoin over the years? It always crashes, and then what happens?
It always
goes back up.
Right.
But you got to wait a year. You got to wait 2 years sometimes. You know what I mean? Like
you said, those whales and those governments are the ones that are buying it up in a bear market. So why would you not follow suit? I mean,
you got to have that. You got to have a Bitcoin psychology, not a BNB psychology. BNB went down to what 330 the other day, and then it went up to 350, and it's probably going to go to 380, and maybe go back down to 260. Who knows, right? But like that's BNB, and it follows in line with Bitcoin. I'm aware of that. But the people who invest in Bitcoin and the people who use BNB, it's different. Right. It's different investment mentalities, and I just think when there are times to be a BNB investor, if you're investing on like a low market cap gem or maybe something you don't entirely believe in, but you know there's some hype behind it, you want to invest and get in and get out. But then there's a difference between that and like last year, I'll say this and then I'll go jump in our VC. Last year, I put 15 grand into a token that I actually believed in at 400K market cap. Saw that 15K turn into 7K. Didn't really follow the charts because I didn't want to, not because I would be tempted to sell, but because I was like, it's going to be fine. You know, when I noticed it go down, what I did is I jumped into their VC. I asked them as an investor how I could help. And this is before Degem started, when I didn't have as much to run for the day to day. And I just started as an investor doing daily VCs and just helping out. Didn't ask for anything, right? I just jumped in. When I started Degem and exited that position, I made 130 grand.
Wow.
5 months later, not 5 days later, not 5 weeks later, 5 months later. Right. It's just a difference. And hopefully people hear the passion. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or negative. It's just like, guys, how many times have we paper handed out of something in a down market? And everybody else that has more money than you got there for a reason. And guess what they're doing? They're buying. Right. So I just think that long term, you got to really look at things and go, know why you are where you are, know why you're invested in what you're invested. And at the end of the day, yes, you invest in the team, but also don't just be an extension of a team member, be an extension of a vision. Carry that vision everywhere with you, because that's what's contagious. That's what other people will buy into. They're not going to buy some random Jewel Master. What the fuck kind of name is that? They're going to buy Jewel Master's token. They're going to buy your token that you invested in, that you believe in. And they won't even ask questions. They'll be like, okay, you bought it. Okay, cool. You know what I mean?
No, it's so
that's
true.
That's how you grow your bag.
I thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are busy, and I want to also acknowledge Jade, Couture, Grimhorn, everybody. I love you guys. Jewel Master, you are just, honestly, that was an hour that went by in like 10 seconds. So I know you got to go. Thank you for stopping in with our community. Looking forward to all the collaborations we're going to do with Degem's platforms and EverReflect. But thank you for your time, my friend, and you have a great night.
Yeah, let me say this. Let me just say this in closing. I want your community to know that we really like the ethos of your team. We are going to do a partnership with you guys in some way, shape, or form. We're still working out all the details on it. But I love talking with you, and your community probably doesn't even know, but you are such just a phenomenal guy, and I'm going to shine some light on that. EJ, I was talking with EJ. I said, look, dude, like I gotta, the first couple marketing people I brought into my project, are no longer here. And I'm like, I gotta figure out marketing, for our token. I've got some money to do it, but I need to figure it out because I don't want to just waste it. And he sat down with our team for an hour unpaid and said, yeah, this is what you do. Then he connected us with some YouTubers. Then he I think he paid for something for us, a video or an ad or something like that. And then it's not about the free stuff. It's about relationships, and it's about helping each other out in this space. And I'm grateful. I want to connect with you personally. I've been going through just a bunch of different things that we're prepping for, transitioning, launching all at the same time. But I'm definitely going to be connecting with you more in private this coming week, this next week, and we'll set up a call, man. But I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to your community and just encourage him, man. You guys have a great leader here, and he's the same way in private that he is out here on VC. Just see through, transparent. Like it's amazing. So thank you, man, for your time. I'm gonna go jump on my open mic and have some fun.
Hey, you're amazing. Thank you for those words. Appreciate it. You guys have a great night, and we'll post it as well to get over into the Degem.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, dude. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
So with that, we'll end this VC. I think you guys can all hear the passion, though, why our project is going to be doing some partnerships and aligning with some of the platforms that they already have in the space, but the passion. I mean, you guys all know that there's very few people that will be able to talk more than I do. And they're just one of the few that we've met, that I trust all their devs, and that project has that long-term vision, and their community does as well. So we're going to sign off here. I will post, this will be a recorded video, at least the audio, and it'll be on YouTube shortly, but we will also post in their Telegram. So if anybody wants to jump over there and hear him talk some more. And then later tonight, the world famous Drabo is going to be doing a giveaway. And we just appreciate you guys all. You speaking of that community that's an extension and that has the passion, that is the people that are here and who have been here for weeks and months. So thank you so much. This is EJ signing off, and I will talk to you guys all soon.